All right, welcome to today and welcome back. We're picking up some issues that we started talking about together. It was actually 8 weeks ago. So some of today will be, I see some faces going, oh, was it? 2 months with holidays and testing and literacy plans in between. So we're picking up some of the issues from last time around alignment. And the alignment is in relation to 3 key parts of the AIZ. The evidence-based monitoring, our data collection, our teaching practice, and the PLTs. And going back and exploring the interrelationship between the 3 of those. In the AIZ, it is an overall strategy. They are not separate compartments. They each relate to the other. And when you're working in one area, you are building your capacity and actually working in the other areas at the same time. And then we want to take that discussion further today and drill down into our instruction and start to talk a little further about differentiation of practice. So that's our work for the morning. And as always, I value your interaction, your comments, your queries, and what you feel would add to the discussion. I've put the 3 pieces of evidence-based monitoring, our teacher practice and the PLTs here in this logo in your notes, and also it's over on the whiteboard for reference across the morning. Just to go back over evidence-based monitoring and be clear about what we're talking about there, we do gather our information and our data from a range of sources, and that's so important that we are building up a full picture of the student. And it might be long-term things such as we could consider NAPLAN. It might be periodic assessment like the ALP testing that Patrick Griffin is working us through, because when you look at that, that testing is basically every 6 months from grade 3 through to grade 6 within the AIZ. It could be something from your internal school assessment program. You might do things like torch or dart periodically because it matches your cohort and the data and the information that you want for your students. And it can also be in relation to what students say, make, write and do, which is proving to be a very immediate type of assessment closely linked to our day-to-day practice and our observation of students. Our 3 questions, our key questions are, what can this student do? And then what evidence is available to determine what we want them to learn, where to go to next for that student, and what evidence will inform when it's been achieved. And with those 3 questions, if we go back to what can this student do, it is a positive and a forward-looking view. What can this student do and where do we take them to next means that within AIZ we are looking to meet the ongoing learning needs of all of our students. What can this student do for a student who's progressing very, very well? Where do we take them to next? Or a student who we might feel is at risk, or through our evidence we know that there are gaps in that student's knowledge, or students in between. So the questions are about the ongoing development of each student, no matter what their stage of development. And our role within the AIZ is to meet those needs. When we're looking at what the student can do and where to take them next, the other side of that coin, although that's evidence-based monitoring, the other side of it really, it takes us automatically into questions about our practice. So we're working at the student level and collecting evidence of their progress and what they know and what we need to build on. But we're actually looking at ourselves and our own practice is the other side of that coin. And this is a challenge for us within AIZ, and we are actually evaluating our effectiveness on the basis of student outcomes. This would once have been an alien and perhaps really challenging concept for us, but we are getting used to that realisation of what we do, what we say, what we organise for, how we go about things does influence directly student development. So looking at the evidence also means a lens for me to look at myself if I know what this student knows now, how will I support them and what do I need to do to move them through to the next level? Do we know what the student needs to learn next? Do we know how to effectively teach it at the personal level, that's a reflection for me, and at the team level and at our school level? Does that make sense to you, that they're really two sides of the same coin? Yep. And really that is the core of our work. We have had this slide before and we've looked at it. The core of our work is to have specialised knowledge of students. And that includes where are they now with our evidence. It includes their disposition to learning. It includes their interests. And also for us to have the knowledge of the content, the tasks, and how to go about teaching that knowledge, that content, and organise for those tasks. That's the core of our work within the AIZ. Our teaching practice, high quality literacy teaching practice within the AIZ. Professor Munro has taken us through the high reliabilities. We've looked at key comprehension strategies, looking at both national and international research, and how they combine with our experience and knowledge, the work you do in your schools plus the work we do and share here as we come together. We know that literacy practice really does relate to reading, writing and speaking and listening, and so far in the AIZ we have focused on reading comprehension. That has been the element that is the focus of our practice. And that takes us through into PLTs. The PLTs are really where our evidence, our data, our teaching practice come together in the PLT. I've written there a culture of reflective practice, collaboration and challenge. It's in the PLTs where we reflect on a learning log. How has this student mastered or managed the learning? What are the outcomes? What are the evidence we have here of their development? What were our original goals? Do we believe those learning goals have been met by the evidence that we have in front of us? Do we have proof of that? We're not inferring development, we're actually having evidence and we're discussing that evidence together. That's where the collaboration comes in, and the sharing of ideas for the development of the next learning log or learning plan for that student or that cohort. And what we are actually doing, as it says there, is reflecting on the evidence, reflecting on our teaching decisions and the collaboration and discussion around that, and reflecting on our plans and our implementation to date, plus then working together to develop the plan for where to take that student to next. And out of the PLTs can also come information that schools are using for observation of each other and drilling deeper into particular practices. As you know, with the PLTs, they're a key element of the AIZ, and University of Melbourne staff and Northern Region staff have been visiting schools. And just to go back through and share with you and give you some feedback on some of the things that we've found, because you only get to go to your own ones. We've had the benefit of seeing a range of them operating, and it's been really informative and really interesting for us.